I'm at Swansea University, where an important conference is taking place in this building behind me on the subject of the rights of children and young people. Rights Here, Right Now is being hosted by the Observatory on Human Rights, which is based here at the university and promotes and studies the implementation of the UNCRC, which was adopted by Wales National Assembly and also now by Swansea. As the Scottish independence referendum debate enters its final stages, the conference heard a unique snapshot of the state of rights for children and young people from all four countries of the current union.
It brought back to me how different the backgrounds are, the political, cultural, historical contexts in which we're dealing with these common issues, and that's something that's very important to understand, that we're never dealing with a one-size-fits-all.
10 years ago we felt we were ahead of the game, that we were sophisticated, that we were pushing forward, we could inform the rest of the United Kingdom, but we've just stopped.
So research has recently analysed the way in which people talk about human rights in newspapers, in political blogs and in political speeches. In England, 80% of that discourse attacked the concept of human rights. In Scotland, it was between 60 and 70%. In Northern Ireland, it was only 55%. And in Wales, 60% of the discourse was positive about human rights.
We've had a situation in Wales recently where government has withdrawn funding for our National Youth Forum. And we don't have a children's minister. We had in Wales, since devolution, building up the structures and systems, a children's minister, a children's unit in government, focus on participation and children's rights. And actually that's all gone in Wales now. But we do have the law, we do have the measure.
There's certainly a wide degree of concern as well about the possible repeal of the Human Rights Act. And that's something that really does feed into the independence debate in Scotland. While we've got a Scottish Government and a Scottish Parliament that talk very much about human rights, they still say they have no intention to change the law.
They could incorporate the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child as far as it goes to devolved issues, and they're very clearly against that. And in all the discussions around the Children's Bill, they were very clear that they weren't going to incorporate the UN Convention. After the vote, if there were to be independence, then obviously we are very clear that we would want to embed the UN Convention into a future constitution for Scotland.
We have a Children's Commissioner, we have a Children's Unit in Government, and we have a Children's Strategy. We haven't got a Bill of Rights and we're not looking like we're getting one. The question that they should have been thinking about was there something particularly different about Northern Ireland's children's lives? There are many things that are very different about children's lives in Northern Ireland that justified differential treatment. And here's one: segregation. The other image is an image of something that happens in Northern Ireland, which I don't think happens anywhere else in the UK, thankfully, and those are punishment beatings.
So while in Wales and Scotland you have new duties requiring attention to children's rights, not only do we not have that in England, there's no chance of us getting anything like that soon.
We're not complacent, and it's very interesting to have this opportunity to learn from the experience of others in those different contexts.
I think we have stagnated, and I think our situation is different. I think when the statistics went up about aversion to rights in our community, I didn't get to say it, but it plays down along political lines.
There's no way that we would have got the Children and Young People Act. Although I've talked about how weak it is a real step forward, and that step wouldn't have been made if it hadn't been for what Wales has done and the steps that have been taken in Wales. And I think almost it wouldn't have been made if it hadn't been for the stagnation in Westminster. It's a way of defining Scotland as being different, a place that's passionate about social justice.
It can get quite lonely working on children's rights in London, so for me it's really motivating to come here and hear what others are doing, and we definitely use the other jurisdictions. When we're asking the Westminster government to move on some of these issues, we definitely point to the other jurisdictions and say they're doing it elsewhere, why can't we do it?
Whilst some might balk at the notion that the appalling records of children's rights in one country might bolster the very limited achievements of another, whatever the outcome of the referendum, these activists are determined to keep working together to promote the rights of children and young people.